In today's episode of, let me tell you, this one right here was so dear to my heart because it just reminded me how we're always asking for something else, right? We're always asking for more because that's how we are bred to be, especially lately. And today's episode is what's already in your hand. I just love this amazing platform because it gives me an opportunity to do something I love doing. I love teaching. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And it gives me the opportunity to pour back into such amazing people like yourself. Whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay, I want to tell you, number one, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to pour into you. And so, in today's episode of What's Already in Your Hand, can I ask you something? Because I'm always that one is asking a question, because I feel that if you ask the right questions, you a lot of times will get the answer that you already been looking and searching for. And so, what are you asking God for? I want you to think about that. What are you asking God to give you right now? Like right this moment? Is it more money? Is it more opportunity? Is it a bigger platform? Is it a relationship? Is it more resources? Is it better health? What are you asking Him for right now? Is it more time? Is it, okay, God, I need some help in doing this? I started that. Okay, now let me ask you even a harder question. What have you done with what He has already given you? Because we've already went down a list of things. So what have you done with what He has already placed in your hand? Ooh, I know. That's why we have chairs around here. If anybody knows, if you know me, if you've been following me, I keep chairs at this table. And even if you don't feel like sitting down in the chair, you can definitely stand around, right? I'm that one that if you're not ready to sit down with the questions, you can always stand around the table for a minute, because today is going to be an honest conversation. I love honest conversation. I don't like fluff. I am so past the fluff, right? I'm so past these surface answers and the surface questions. I like to get to the nitty gritty of everything. And I want to spend some time looking past that very cute answer that we give, right? I think that we live in a world that's consistently teaching us how to look and want for more. That's just my personal opinion. Everywhere that we look is always an ad, right? There's an ad for everything, for vitamins, for water, for energy drinks. There's always an ad, no matter what social media or platform that you're on. There's always an ad saying, "Buy me. You got to have this. This is the best thing than sliced bread." Uh, and it's so funny because when I was growing up, like I know, like I don't look a day over, but in my time, we didn't have this many commercials grabbing your attention. We only had a few. Now it's like you cannot, and I said you cannot stay on something for 2 seconds for it. Now you see it all up your timeline. If you say, "Oh, that looks interesting," let me click on it. Well, that's the worst thing that you can do is click on it, right? Because now it follows you everywhere you go. All you was curious about it. Now it follows you, and now it's just bombarding you, right? It's constantly, it's like, you may want it. Come on, you know you need it. But we forget about everything else that we already have because something is being offered that looks a little bit more shinier. Like we call that uh, shiny bone ball syndrome, right? Is whereas everything looks sparkling and new. But you forget about the last sparkle ball that you purchased. You forgot the last sparkle course that you purchased, the last car, the last opportunity. And now we're looking for something new because you're like, okay, well, maybe this time it's going to work for me. Maybe this time it's going to pop off. Instead of you saying, what do I already have in my hands? Because we want more followers, right? Because we feel like we have more followers, then we'll have more clout, and that'll make us more money, and that gets us more connections. And I want more education because I feel like if I don't, go back to school, and if I don't get that master's, if I don't get that doctorate, and that means that I'm less than. And sometimes we carry the same mentality into our relationship, like with God. Come on, somebody, because I know, like I have. We would take that same mentality and say, God, I want more. And he's saying, well, wait a minute now. Hold up. Come on, sis. Come on, bruh. You still want more? God, if you can just give me this, if you can just open that, if you can just send me this, and that's how we talk to him. I'm just talking about myself. Lord, if you just send me that good opportunity, Lord, if you can just send me a little bit more so I can make it over. But lately, here's what I've been thinking. I've been thinking that what if the answer to my next season isn't something coming to me? What if part of the answer is something that is already in my hands? I'm going to say it again. What if the thing that you're asking for is not something that is coming to you, but it's something that is already in your hands already? You saying, okay. Because sometimes we're waiting for God to send something he's waiting for us to already use that is already there. He's waiting on us to use what we already are not already fully putting to work. And maybe what's in your hand it doesn't look fancy, right? Like it doesn't look like it is the best thing in sliced bread. And maybe it's 30 or 40 years of experience. Maybe it's 10, or maybe it's even 5. Let me bring it down a little bit more. Maybe it's 5 years of experience. Maybe it's something that you survive. Maybe it's a skill that you currently possess that you've had for a long time, but don't think that it really amount to anything. Maybe you're good with children. You know how to cook. People call you because they need some type of advice. People call you when they need some help. People are looking at you because you have already raised your children and now they're looking for you for baby advice. I don't know what skill set that you may have in your arsenal, in your tool belt. And maybe you're taking care of aging parents and can show somebody else how to navigate aging parents. Maybe you know how to stretch, and trust me when I tell you, this one right here hits home. Maybe you know how to stretch $50 and make it to $100. Maybe you have gotten the skill set of saying, hey, I know how to take 50, put 50 here and watch 50 grow to 75, 100, 150. You have a skill set that that you are literally sitting on. And trust me, I mean, like, I know what it's like, because back in the day, I don't know how my mama did it, because she was able to take 50 and make it spread on out. Honey, baby, go in there and find some food in the refrigerator. And we didn't see that when we went in the refrigerator. And she come out with a whole meal, like, where did you get that meal from? Because we were just up in there. We didn't see nothing but some bologna and some bread. That's what I'm talking about. How you're able to do things, and other people's like, how is that possible? So don't dismiss something because it comes natural. It comes natural to you because we've all done that. It was like, oh, that's nothing. I just do that just out of, I'm good at that, right? Like I was just helping a young lady on yesterday. She called me for some consultation, and she was like, hey, I thought about you because like you helped me last time with some contracts, and I wanted to reach back out to you and see if you can help me. And I'm saying, sure, tell me what your problem is. And so, like we chopped it up, and by the time we were done, I was able to assist her, send her over a plan and an invoice. Right? I was able to send her a plan and an invoice. And because here's the thing, what you think is nothing, somebody else is looking for your expertise that you've been sitting on, that you have just been thinking of. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hire me or consult with me. Not necessarily true. Because sometimes the feeling of ordinary to you is valuable because somebody else doesn't know how to use it. Nobody knows how to do it like you do it. And I know you're probably saying, okay, Coach Jackie, but there are a lot of people that's doing what I'm doing. That is true. But here's the thing. Nobody do it like you do it. Nobody sings the same. I have my preference of singers because I feel that there's a difference between a singer and an entertainer. A singer to me is that one that you can drop them anywhere and they can blow. I mean, they can blow. They don't need no piano. They don't need no guitar. You just get them a microphone and they can do their thing. Whereas to me, an entertainer needs all of the exclusive of, all the background. They need to be in the studio. They need to be closed in order to hold a note. Those are two different people for me. But they just do it naturally. So I want you to think about that today because you're thinking that, oh, this is what I do. This is just how I roll. But in reality, I could say the same thing. This is where I want to bring this home for you. So for me, I'm a child care developer, right? So like I've been doing that for about 35 plus years. I started off at a daycare and I got recruited to become a nanny. And then I went on to start working private homes. And then I went on to then starting my own working with just babies. And then from there, I started traveling with it. I started doing parent coaching with it. But it all started with one baby. And then it went on to 2 or 3. And then I started working with twins. And then I started working with surrogates. And so then I started branching out and working with so many amazing, amazing, amazing families. And then I started doing panels. And then I started doing workshops. But that was over a 35-year span. Now, bring it forward is that I have all the knowledge. I have all the experience. I have the understanding of parents. I have the understanding of babies. I have understanding of development. And can I tell you something? That there is no textbook that cannot teach what I do when I walk into a home. Yes, there are books. When I tell you guys, there are millions, gazillions of books that tell you how to burp a baby, how to feed a baby, how to put the baby to sleep, and how to, how to gentle parent, how to not parent. It is like It is crazy compared to when I first got into the industry. But here's the thing, that's great, depending on a parent's style. But here's the difference. I call it, they don't get the Jackie effect, right? Because I get to come in, and it's different than when you read a book than you do when you have a mother that is sitting there crying and going through the mommy blues. That's different. Yes, you can read about it, definitely for sure. But it's different when you're in the moment. Because in the moment, there's no book to tell you take a breath and breathe and that it's going to be okay. In a moment, it's not going to tell you that you are a great parent in spite of if you cannot fully breastfeed your child. In the moment, yes, you can get a book and you can Google it and all those things like that. But it does not walk you through the process of going back to work and leaving your little one at home with a nanny, an unpair, or with a grandmother. And you struggle with that because you want to be home, but you got to go back to work. That's the difference. That's what textbooks don't teach. They can teach you the mechanics, but they cannot teach you the emotional. And when you're in the thick of it, and that's where I come in at, right? That's what I recognize what they need. As soon as I walk through the doors, pretty much a lot of times, I know when to step away. Like I know when to step in. I know when to give advice and to allow them to figure it out. My life experience have brought me to being a children's author. It has given me a voice. It has given me the ability to have hard conversations. Because trust me, being a parent coach and being a teacher, it brings you to hard conversations that a lot of times a lot of parents don't want to hear. Because like, here's one of my mottos. I say, don't start a habit that you cannot keep up. He said, well, Jackie, that's not a hard conversation. It is when you allow your child just to do what they want to do. And now they're 2 and 3 and they're still doing the same thing that you thought was cute. It's not cute anymore. So it's having those hard conversations and having my faith. Can I tell you guys, my faith has been my foundation, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because doing like what I do is, you have to have it. Because you have clients that will show up, not show up. You have clients that will say that they want to work with you and then they go with somebody that's cheaper. But it has nothing to do with you. It's just that you have to remember that is that you're not for everybody. And everybody is not your ideal client. And so if you don't have a foundation in doing what you do, then you're going to be like, okay, I didn't just suddenly receive these things to just start my business. The final thing for me is that I realized I love serving people. And I had to take the gift that God had given me and to use it in a way that not only serve my ideal clients, but also serve him the same way. So I wonder how many of us are praying for an opportunity using something that we've been carrying for years. I have been carrying childcare for years, but I didn't think of it as, can I be transparent? I didn't think of it as a tool. I just think of it as something that I fell into because my mom was a childcare developer for over 20 years. And I said, oh, I just fell into it, as I would tell people, but not realizing that that was a gift and talent that would take me way beyond just working in a classroom. That it took me on to writing books, personal development books, teaching other child care providers, speaking in front of other child care providers. But I had something already in my hand. And so I always like to bring in at least one person to the table. And I love Moses. Why? Because Moses was just like us. He asked God, he said, "What's in your hand?" And he was like, I feel like I just got a stick. Okay. It's just a regular old staff. There's nothing fancy about it. But he was overlooking, yes, it was just a regular stick. It's nothing fancy. It was just a little crook, like, but that sounds like us, right? That you overlook that you know how to cook real good. You overlook that you learn AI and just it just comes to you. You overlook that you have a gift for speaking. You overlook that you have a gift for leadership. Because why? Because it's nothing glamorous. It's nothing, right? It's nothing that you can like, oh, I just do this every single day. And here's the thing. That's the thing. It is such a boring thing, and it's so easy to overlook because you do it every single day. What you do seems ordinary to you because you do it Monday through Sunday. Even when you ain't trying to do it, it shows up in some type of way. But guess what? You got something in your hand. But Moses saw ordinary was something God was going to use. And here's where I want to challenge you. Maybe you keep showing God what you don't have, and God keeps pointing towards what you do have. He keeps showing you. There's things that that's the perspective. You showing him what you don't have, but he's showing you, but you do have something. But don't let this turn into, because I'm not all about cute quotes. I'm not all about motivation, inspiration. This is important because having something in your hand doesn't mean you automatically know what to do with it. Trust me when I tell you, I've seen so many people take the skill that they have and they don't know what to do with it. Experience needs strategy. For sure, for sure. Talent needs development. I've never seen a singer not go into the studio and sing. I've never seen a basketball player just get on the court without having hours and hours of practicing. I've never seen a baseball player just go out there and just start hitting. No, they have practice season. On and off season, they're practicing. If you want to do the thing that you do, did you not have to do it over and over and over and over and over again? I had to rock a baby over and over, sing to a baby over and over, read to a baby over and over again, talk to a parent over and over and over again till it just become like me eating, drinking and chewing gum, because I had to do it over and over and over again. A story needs wisdom before it can be something that is taught. And I'm going to say it again for the people in the back just riding on the bus with me. A story needs wisdom before it's something that is taught, because we are teaching things and like we have no wisdom with it. A gift still needs to have discipline. Yes, you have an amazing gift, but if you have no discipline with your gift, you out here like the Wild Wild West. Faith doesn't mean sitting around and saying, God gave me this, and somebody would eventually discover me. And I'm gonna say that for the people that is like really thinking that. Yes, God did give you a gift, but stop thinking that folks are going to discover you. No, that's because that's the illusion that a lot of people are thinking like God gave me this gift and they're gonna find me. Sometimes stewardship looks like training. Sometimes it looks like creating. It looks like applying it. It looks like charging appropriately for your expertise. For those of us that be like, I don't want to charge nobody. Absolutely. That means charging for your expertise. Sometimes it looks like finally putting your name on something that you've been quietly keep it for 30 years. And I think they're talking about me. It's time for you to put your name on it. If you know that you make that macaroni and cheese at the job and folks now be asking you, do you do some catering? Put your name on it. Say, yes, I do. How many do you need for me to serve? Put your name on it. Now, we're coming to the table. And I'm asked, what have you been calling insignificant because you've had it for a long time? Not what do I need? Not what am I missing? Not what needs to discover me. Ask, what have I in my hands already? Then, what am I going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Because I'm one of those, once you show up and the light is shined on you, what you going to do with it? Because recognition without action is just another conversation. I'm going to say that because y'all riding the bus with me already now, and we about to go away off this bus. Because recognition without action is just another conversation. So before you ask God for another thing this week, because I know last week you already asked. I know 2 weeks ago you already asked. Make an inventory. Look around your life. Take inventory of your experience, your knowledge, your relationship, your gift, your testimonies, all of that, your resources, everything that you've learned through your mistakes, because we all have made mistakes and we have learned some hard lessons from the mistakes. And then ask God, ask him, like, show me what I've stopped seeing because I've gotten familiar with it. And you may discover that you're not nearly as empty-handed as you think that you are. Maybe you're waiting on something new when God is asking you what's in your hands already. Maybe you're waiting on something new and he's asking you what's in your hands already. A lot of us have a lot of things in our hand, but we're busy. We're busy being busy because we think busy work is productive work, and not necessarily. Because you're telling yourself and you're allowing things to tell you that you need something else. Something else. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to go get the degree, go get it. I know a lot of folks right now are going for their master's, going for their doctorate. If God laid it on your heart, do that. But a lot of us are staying in rooms and we're staying on podcasts and we are staying on all these other things, and we are looking at come on, somebody. We're looking at other people and their gifts and their talent, and we're saying, oh, I need that, when we totally forgot about what do I have in my hands? What am I good at? Who can benefit from what I have to give? Because we're so busy focusing on somebody else's gifts, somebody else's talent. And now we're saying, okay, God, I need that. Can you hand me that? And he's like, well, wait a minute. I already gave you something. Why are you not using that? And so as we go about our day today, as we go about our week this week, as we close out, because believe it or not, we're at the end of the month. As we do that, can we just have this conversation and ask ourselves, what do I have in my hand? And if you pulled up the table, thank you for sitting with me. And if you're still standing around the table and you're still listening, you're welcome here too. Keep it coming, because your next decision matters more than your last mistake. And there'll always be a seat at the table for you.